So before this episode starts, if you do enjoy the Leg It podcast and you do want to support us for just £1 a week, you can on Patreon. And with doing so, you get early access to all our episodes and an extra weekly episode of me and Jordan just chewing the fat. Thanks for the support. Nice one. Welcome to the Leg It Sportcast. It's me, Andy Grant.
It's me, Jordan Neild.
What's happening?
Should we start with your losing of your other leg?
I know. Feel like I've lost both legs now. I've lost my phone, so everyone knows what it's like to lose your phone. Not great.
If you don't know, behind the scenes, you have the WhatsApp groups and that with all our topics, and you lead us through the episode. Now look at you.
No, I know. So lead away. First off, massive thanks again to Monterex. They're our sponsors, you know by now. 15% off if you type in Leg It at checkout. And we've also teamed up with Ver. You get 20% off if you type in Leg It 20 at verclothing.com, I think it is. But all the links are in the description, as you know by now. Big thanks again to our sponsors for that. What's been going on in sport, George?
We're just going to have to start in the exact same place we started last week, I think. Everton FC.
I was in town last night and there was a protest going on for like, I don't know, some adversity in the world, and I was blagging me off that it was to do with Mashiri. But there was actually a protest, wasn't there, at Goodison?
Yeah, they to be fair, decent turnout, but see them singing Carragher's and Nobbed.
No.
One of the chants at the protest was Carragher's and Nobbed.
Why to Carragher?
I think he was giving it a bit on Twitter, actually.
I was just winding them up.
Not really, he was actually making a point of you going at everyone, but Mashiri, who's making the decisions, if he didn't have all this money, you'd be going at him, sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? You're giving him a bit of a pass because of he's the money man with the stadium and all that stuff. Which I think some Everton fans have gone at Mashiri, haven't they? Well,
I don't understand. Well,
it's a Netflix. This whole thing, mate, is a Netflix season. This whole Pereira ringing in Sky Sports News.
How bad was that?
It's the fucking job.
Why did he do that?
Don't know.
I thought I got sent in a WhatsApp group and I thought that's a blag that.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought it was, like your Darren Farley type characters, do you know what I mean? But I don't know. Who's advised them to do that?
No. And they're going to him on Sky Sports like, what's been said on the contract negotiations, and he's like, oh, well, we discussed many things. Why are you fucking telling the whole country about your job interview?
It's bad, that, isn't it?
I think he's talking himself out of a job.
100%, mate. With that, I mean, this Kia Jirabchi, you know where his name is, and Farhad Mashiri in their little sort of advisory, sort of weird role they've got for each other. If it wasn't for like all this, obviously the fan stuff has probably paid into it as well, but they wanted it. He was in, mate. He went from 3 to 1 to 1 to 2 overnight. He was in.
I've seen, obviously there's some really negative things about him in the sense that all that links with his kind of backhanders and stuff like that, but he did actually win the league a couple of times, didn't he? I think he went 2 years unbeaten in Portugal. Yeah,
I think he's got one of them sort of CVs where, like, at the start it looked pretty promising, didn't it? Then he's done like a stint in China. He
won the league in China, to be fair.
This Kia got him in at like 1860 Munich and he took them down in 3 months. Do you know what I mean? And then people were like, well, that's similar to the situation we're in. What are we bringing in? I think it's all the muskiness of it, it's like agent backhanders and, why is he sitting in the director's box when he's not really officially a part of the club? And then suddenly they've signed 2 of his clients and now he's getting the manager in. It all stinks a little bit.
Doesn't it?
Exactly, and I think that's what Everton fans have rightly got annoyed about.
The problem is, though, like, where do you go? I don't think any Everton fan knows anymore.
No, I think they just want clarity, don't they? And I really, they just want, obviously, even if they brought Pereira in, there's anything but clarity, isn't he? There's this fella who's sort of like knocked about a bit. He might be the client of this kid, and it's all still a bit murky waters. I think the reason most of them, rightly, like you said last week, are going for Lampard is because it's like, all right, Lampard comes in, we know him, he knows us, we know he's a young manager and this stuff. I don't think it's the right decision, but they've got clarity, haven't they? They know who he is and he knows them.
And the other big one, is it just till the end of the season? Is it longer? I mean,
I still stand by it needs to be 5-year plan, doesn't it? It needs to be sort of like you're going in, you've got this amount of time, this amount of money. There's going to be good times, there's going to be bad times, there's going to be bad runs. We're not going to always be challenging for Europe, but if you just keep going, right, welcome, you're our new manager, get us in the Champions League. Doesn't work.
And they just become a laughing stock then, like that Ken Mike, when he said that famous one when he went to Martinez, he went, I'll get you in the Champions League, and he went, you've got the job.
Yeah.
There was just a cringy interview I remember, press conference, and it's...
some of the, like, obviously, the diehard Liverpool fans, and then there's Everton fans who really love the club. Imagine going through that constantly, do you know what I mean? Just like the constant shit that's just getting thrown at you.
It's 27 years, that is madness to think. 27 years without, I think in that time they've had an FA Cup final, have they maybe? I think they got beat by Chelsea,
But they had a semi against Liverpool as well, didn't they? 2012-ish, 2011, is it?
I still think now with Everton fans, I remember getting slagged for saying, would you not have Moyes back? Moyes has been their most successful manager, and you can say, oh, he played this football or that football. The players he brought in, some of the signings he done, fucking great for them.
He's flying, and he's flying now.
And, well, yeah, not only is he flying now, but at the time he got them into the Champions League qualifiers, didn't he? It's like that's the best chance they've had of any success under Moyes. And yet he's kind of lambasted in a way of like they're going back in time for him. And then he goes to West Ham, and look what he does to West Ham. I just did not understand the not one Moyes thing, and then since then it's just gone from disaster to disaster. You could argue Ancelotti was the only, improvement, but then he's obviously left them.
I think Moyes, for me, is one of the only managers that, of that old school in the Prem, he's one of very few managers who has actually moved at the times. His West Ham team play as modern football as you'll see in, obviously they're not the same Liverpool as the likes of Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea even, but they play good, exciting footy. They're solid at the back. They've got players like Bowen, Antonio, Declan Rice. For me, someone I said was terrible, by the way. I'm going to hold my hands up to that. Probably one of the most exciting midfielders in the league now. They play good footy.
Yeah, no, it's the one, and it's not me being bitter. I always think that I come across as really bitter, and I have to, it's just to be on the wind up sometimes. But one of the best lines I hear Evertonians when they say Everton Football Club is like a social experiment to see how far a man can be pushed.
See how far a person can be pushed, yeah. It's got to be though at this point.
It's sad times, man.
It is.
Sticking with footy then, mate, I was hoping and praying Mo would be back home. And he's
scoring pens.
He scores the deciding penalty, didn't he?
No bad. Just get on. But they are home, aren't they? I'm right in saying they're home for the next game. Not the Cardiff game, the next Premier League game.
Oh, regardless of how far he goes.
I think they'll be home within a couple of days, so.
Oh, right, okay.
I think they're home. I think so, anyway.
Oh, let's hope he goes and wins it then.
No, get home.
Yeah, we want more rest at home, don't we, I guess?
What is he? He's in the quarters now, right? Do the quarters. That's far enough. See Sadio get knocked clean out.
Yeah. I think he scored after he got knocked out,
That sums him up, by the way.
But then he had to get taken off because of concussion. But it's a serious thing now, the concussion. I mean, you know a lot more about it in the boxing and stuff, don't you? Yeah. But I think in football, they've started that new rule, haven't they? Well, I think it was in all of last season, I think. It's
absolutely, it's a necessity now, because the thing with concussion is, I'm no doctor, but it's not the immediate symptoms of like, you've had a head injury. It's the damage you're doing further down the line, and then if you're putting your brain in a position where, it's less, sort of less protected, and then you're continuing to play. It's the problems down the line. But that was a bad of bravery for him going up to it, but he got cleaned out.
You can see when he hits the deck after the collision, and he just actually lands on his face, like his head hits the ground first. Then there was that photo with the goalkeeper, went to see him afterwards, didn't he, in the hospital? Yeah. Do you still think in that AFCON, when the likes of Mane, Salah, maybe Mahrez, maybe, the other players are kind of like,
Defo, because there's a massive gulf, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You see it in the World Cup, when, the sort of smaller countries get in, and it's like, the sort of ruck for everyone to get a shirt and stuff like that.
Yeah.
These players who obviously leave the continent and then are like playing in Europe, it's a different world, isn't it? Completely.
That's what I mean. He's probably like, if it was anyone else he'd knocked out, he wouldn't be arsed going to the hospital to see them. But he's like, I've got to go and see Mane. I've got to.
Mate, people keep sending me videos of the African Cup of Nations. Have you seen the ref run? Have you seen that one?
No.
Oh my God. There's one where the ball goes in the box with, and then the goalie's about to kick it, and the ref's doing the funniest run you've ever seen in your life. Obviously back to the centre circle, but it just plays this like it's just got so much comedy in it.
You say it's got comedy, and it's got a bit of it went a bit serious quickly. With was it 8 people died?
6, I think, and 8 injured, but don't quote us on that. But yeah,
I mean the whole thing. has just been a farce, hasn't it? Obviously, the safety aspect, you know, sadly people have been killed, a lot of people have been crushed in the kind of, was it like a bit of a stampede into the ground or something, and you know, whoever's at fault for that, I mean, don't know the ins and outs of it.
Sorry, you were right, 8 died in a fatal crush.
The whole thing has just been mad with controversy, with obviously now heartache with that, and just calamity on the field of just, you know, it's just been a shit show.
It's like, the only way to sum up the African Cup of Nations, it's like up here, Salah, Mane, them type of players, or it's like down here. Do you know
Playing
what I
on
mean?
Buckley Hill or something.
It literally is. One of the kids was 14. 8 and 14. It's been obviously you're not going to put that blame on anyone, like, but
It's
right
made
now,
a shit show.
It has been an absolute shit show, hasn't it?
There was, I've seen a couple of worldies though. Did you see that one from about 40 yards out?
Was it the goalie's fault though?
That's what I mean. No, it was just a brilliant goal, and you see that, and you're like, wow. But then the next minute, it's just, you know, dodgy referee running, and you know, 85 minutes game stopping, and the rest of it. It's just been a mad few weeks of football. That.
Yeah. Did you see the left back who went in goal?
Yeah, that was it.
He put his hands behind his back.
Yeah. So there was 3 goalies got corona or something, didn't he? Something, or
the left back was in goal.
yeah, he's in goal and he's not even using his hands, and he's the goalie.
Just an autopilot, and he trying to look to a pen away.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the full game, like, but the clips,
Neither have I.
God, kill me.
I only see it when you send me fucking bits on it. I don't watch it.
It's just, I know, I'm always looking for the comedy aspect in things and that, but Jesus Christ.
No, it's bad.
The tournament is gold.
Yeah, no.
Couple of mad little stories across the world of sport. I see where the Bremen manager got banned from football for a year after using a fake COVID vaccination certificate.
Really?
So obviously he's got one of the Al Black ones, and he's been found. He got fined €20,000 and banned for a year.
Wow.
Mad that, innit?
How's he? What's he done? Went into the club doctor or something and said, "Hey, sort me one of these or something."
Got it. I mean, there's obviously a break in the chain of trust somewhere, isn't he? But
yeah.
a year out. It's heavy, isn't it?
Fucking hell. And were they doing all right then? Do you know what? It's like,
No, I don't think they would. Yeah, I think they were just being Werder Bremen, but still, like, proper
just that
middle of the road.
bit just being Werder Bremen.
They have a good player every couple of years. Someone takes him.
Yeah, that's a bit mad, isn't it?
Yeah.
On the old COVID thing, mate, Djokovic, like, I'm so fascinated to know how that's going to play out, because he's not going to be allowed in the French Open because of this COVID passport thing, and it's like he's made that much of a sing and dance about it now. He's either got to then back down and go and get the vaccine, or he doubles down on not getting it, or he does what the old Werder Bremen manager does and gets a blag one.
Imagine Djokovic turning up in Australia. Yeah, that's been done. Like, fucking hell, that was
got back to that last week. But genuinely, what does he do?
Retires.
Someone made a comment on the Sportscast as well, saying basically saying the guy, the Russian, I think, number 2 in the world, because I'd not heard of him. Fair point. What I meant was...
Yeah, I listened to it back, but...
Yeah, what I meant was like that kind of era of Djokovic, Nadal and Federer sadly coming to an end.
Yeah.
No disrespect to this number 2, the Russian guy, but he's not like... No. He's not to that level, is he, type thing?
I think that the point was right, like that era is coming to the end. Obviously these players are great and stuff, but that era that's like defined, you know, a lot of people is watching tennis. It is coming to an end, isn't it? And that's just a fact.
Well, I haven't got my phone, but the guy's name, he come through...
That fella's going to get after you again.
I know. He come through a 5-set thriller, I think it was, in the last round, and did you see what he done though at the end of his match?
No.
He basically, I think he was going out the match at one point, and obviously fought back brilliantly to win. And at the end, he said, you know, when I was down, I thought, you know, what would Novak do? And all the crowd started booing.
Oh my God.
So
Medvedev.
Yeah, him. He says, he went, I thought to myself, you know, what would Novak do? And as soon as he mentioned Novak's name, all the Australian crowd started booing. And then he said, you know, and also, you know, I thought, what would Nadal do, and what would, you know, Roger do as well?
What John McEnroe do?
Yeah, and they all started going, hey, but mate, it would have been interesting if Novak had played.
Yeah, he'd have got heckled, mate. Heckled.
Bad. So,
funny that. Imagine anyone's ever said, I just thought to myself, what would Tim Edmund do? Tim Edmund, what a joker.
I am still, mate, putting me flag down on the hill of that is a false tournament. Because if Novak's not there, mate, it's it's a blag tournament.
100%, mate. He's the best player. And that is what... I think he'll retire, me.
Well, the sad thing is, though, he's on, I think, 30 Grand Slams. They're all tied.
Yeah,
I'm sure they are.
He needs, like, the legacy defining sort of...
He only needs one more title, and he's... So...
It's wrong, though, isn't it, mate?
Don't mention Novak's name if you go to Australia.
Yeah, you're filled in.
You get filled in.
And don't misquote Russian tennis players who are boss and say...
Because you get shit in the YouTube comments.
No, it wasn't shit, but...
No, it's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, we don't mind that. A little bit of correctness here and there.
Yeah,
but we're definitely not right all the time.
Just one off sport for a second. On our latest Patreon, the pangender community, thankfully have not come after us, but it did make a few people laugh, which was good to know.
Made me laugh. I listened back to it. What a hell, yeah. But if you haven't seen the latest Patreon, you fancy it, the links are in the bio. But they are the weirdest chats.
Funny though, mate. It's therapy.
It is therapy.
This is sport and therapy, but those Wednesday chats are just
sport and therapy. I like that.
It's nice.
Should rename the show
Sport and Therapy.
We're coming with the new designs.
Mate, I listened to one show I do like. I think Simon Jordan on TalkSport. Do you ever listen to him?
I can't listen to TalkSport just because I fucking hate it, but I know what you mean about him.
Yeah. So anyway, they had a good chat yesterday about obviously your game, boxing. What are your thoughts on the whole stepping aside 15 million quid?
Well, 15 million was apparently, there's not even a figure. Someone just said it and everyone's ran with it, but I don't know, mate. Like, 15 million pounds to not fight and not get beat. Who's going to say no to that? He will never beat Alexander Usyk. He will just never beat him.
The point I heard, which was a really good point, I think he should be getting advised to take the fight if his management think that he can win. If there is any doubt with the trainer, the management, or him himself that he thinks he can't win, step aside.
That's the point, isn't it? I think his management telling him to take it and he's saying no. He wants to fight. I
heard he wanted an extra 5 million and that was $1 million of it was going to go to charity.
Oh, fucking hell, Tyson Fury back in the building.
Honestly.
That's all he ever says. I'm donating every single penny in my purse to charity, and then he has a fucking new Lamborghini.
Who's this?
Tyson Fury says it.
No, Josh.
No, I know, yeah.
All right.
I don't believe any of that. They don't. They give enough, I'm sure, off the books or whatever. But you know, it's not.
I mean,
he's got to. If they offer him £15 million, he has to take it because, you know, he's going to just get written into the contract that, you know, I stepped aside so I fight the winner, which is fine. But it's what people are going to say about him, isn't it? Well, people are going to say you shit yourself.
That's the point I'm getting to. Is he bothered about legacy and someone who never ducked a fight and he always fought the best? Or is he happy to take 15 million quid?
The other question is, does he need 15 million quid?
Well, you look at Mike Tyson. He went through how much money did he have in his career? Yeah. And he filed for bankruptcy a couple of years ago.
Yeah, but Joshua is you can say whatever you want about him as a fighter or whatever, but as a businessman, he's very clever. I'm sure his money's doing a lot of work.
Yeah, he's not buying white tigers, I guess, is he? Like?
Nah. Well, yeah, to be honest, he's not going to beat Usyk.
When they say, though, the money, right, yeah, he's obviously worth hundreds of millions, but 15 million quid to not fight someone and not get battered.
I'm just sitting on the couch watching Usyk Fury thinking, oh, get in.
Do you know what I mean? And is he bothered that me or you go, he's a shithouse?
I think he is, though, because once you get to a certain amount of money's there forever. You've got, you know, you paid for your kid's life, your grandkid's life, their kids, blah, blah, blah. When he lies in his bed, wherever he is, did a shit myself will definitely be his last thought. And it would happen to me.
But...
And I'm not saying he's shitting himself, by the way, I'm just saying that.
Do you not think, though, he'd get a kick out of sitting there going, you two lads have paid me 15 million quid to watch you slug it out?
But then if he said that,
that's a bit of a...
I've already battered you. Just be quiet.
I think that'd give you a bit of a kick, that, you know.
It keeps him in the conversation, doesn't it? Because then it's that power play of like, yeah, whatever happens in your fight, you've got to come and talk to me. It's contractually stated. I then get the fight with who's everyone's saying the best heavyweight in the world. But so I understand that. There's two sides of it, really. He needs to fight Usyk because it's the noble thing to do, and everyone's saying go and get redemption. But I think him and his team, his new team, won't have had long enough to work together in order to come up with something that's going to beat Usyk. Whether he can even beat Usyk, I don't believe anyway. And then there's I don't know, where does he put it? Where is that something his career will always be remembered for? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, Joshua, the world champion, did this, sold out Wembley, sold out Tottenham. But then is it like, yeah, but remember he stepped aside and he took money not to fight? It's how long that sticks with you, isn't it?
Yeah, but I just think, mate, it's if you're looking at it like a kind of risk-reward thing, I think the smart thing to do is step aside because, number one, he's getting 15 million quid, if that's, true what's reported. If he does the fight and gets beat, which, we all think he will, he'll obviously make money from the fight, but he won't, how much will he, I don't know, he make from it, but then he loses out in future earnings then, potentially.
Yeah.
Whereas if he takes the 15 mil and then fights the winner and for maybe gets another 60 mil, then he's made 75 mil for one fight. Because
the next fight will be billed as, it's make or break, isn't it? It's like, if he doesn't beat Usyk, and then how does he go to the table with Fury?
Well, exactly.
He doesn't get to the table.
So the smart thing to do is take the step aside money and then fight the winner.
But then there's a little twist again today. Fury's been on, was it this morning or last night? He's been on saying Dillian White, make sure you train hard, mate, it's on, the fight's on and stuff like that. So the twist.
When does Usyk have to fight?
There's no contractual date, but it's all this like. So they're in White's in arbitration with the WBC about all stuff. Then there's a purse bid that keeps getting pushed back and pushed back. So it's not just as clear as I want to fight you. This is this date. There's people. That's why Joshua's getting paid off. That's why White, White's in there and might fight Fury before it goes down. Usyk's just lying on a beach chilling. Come fuck shit up and win an oldie. But I think Fury White has more chance of happening than Fury versus Usyk. Because. But you know what? I said obviously, didn't I? I said Fury got beat this year. If the best Tyson Fury...
I don't think they fight again this year, the way it's going on.
But the best Tyson Fury beats the best Dillian White. That's a fact, in my opinion. But this is a fight with Dillian White before a fight like that is the sort of fight Tyson Fury will lose.
Do you reckon?
Because there's no... He thrives on the fear, do you know what I mean? He'll go into that fight and it'll be... you see when he sort of struggled with Otto Warren, it's the... Going to Fury's going to batter this dude, do you know what I mean?
He's got his eyes on something else as well.
And as soon as that leaves Tyson Fury, and maybe he doesn't train as hard as he was for the Wilder fights, and he's not as focused, that's when the shit happens for him. And then if he gets beat by Dillian White, then we're all fucked.
It's again, well, getting you wound up on it. It is so frustrating boxing, isn't it? Why it's not just as simple as right, you're fighting him on this date, go on.
It's the weirdest and most wonderful world that you're ever getting. But did you see Audley Addison this week going at it on Twitter? So I'm guessing he got a Twitter profile, Audley Addison. He was just getting after everyone for watching stuff. And then good old James English had a little pop at him.
Did he? Saying what?
Someone said, "Oh,
I unfollowed him fucking ages ago.
You should get on the James English podcast." And he was like, "I only interview world champions or something," which is not a fact because he's interviewed plenty of non-world champions. But anyway, and then someone said, someone made the right point saying, well, if it wasn't for Audley Addison winning gold and stuff like that, this British boxing scene wouldn't be here. All these nights we have, all these people you're interviewing wouldn't be doing it because the funding was gone. And then he was like, shut up, that's not true. When you do...
Why would he not want him to come on?
Just don't know. I guess James English just not wants to be involved with Audley Addison. But the story of what I know, Audley Addison got to the point where he was gun shy as a pro and he got rolled over a couple of times, pricey and that stuff. But what he did at the Olympics, mate, him and Namir Khan secured the funding for the likes of Joshua and Luke Campbell, all these, even the kids coming out of the Olympics now, do you know what I mean? Without their success, the funding doesn't get done. You don't have the EIS in Sheffield. The British boxing isn't in the place it's in now because you just don't have the conveyor belt of talent. The funding's gone.
Mate, I know firsthand, well, not firsthand because it wasn't me, but I've got friends who are in the Paralympics and their funding is literally purely results based. So if you're on, for example, a gold kind of funding list and you get X amount a year, if you don't get gold, like the next day it gets dropped. Like literally the next day, and then they'll have like a medal prospect fee. If you don't medal, again, it's getting dropped again. Yeah. I had a mate who got injured and it was like literally like the next day his funding got cut. Yeah, well, because he came fourth instead of third.
Well, I think his gold medal I think it was literally that. It was if he didn't win the gold medal, the national lottery funding was either cut or was never happening. So then all that money that they got was then sort of pumped back in to build the to establish the EIS, which is in Sheffield, where they all go and they all go on this conveyor belt of being Team GB. If he didn't, and then it just winds me up though, do you know what I mean? When people are like, good on James English, podcast is great, he, good on him, but to be so narrow-minded and be like, oh, fuck, no, why would I want... Like, if you're interviewing boxers and you're speaking about boxers, fucking do your own work and understand what he done to get the people on your table, do you know what I mean?
Great point, yeah.
It's fucking annoying, but he was after people on the he must have been bladdered or something.
Was he just going after everyone?
Yeah, he's fucking getting... If you're bored, go and have a look at it. All the Addison's timeline, you can't, like...
No, get my phone back, I will.
But yeah, boxing, weird and wonderful, innit? Always. See, that same show though, that TalkSport show, Conor Benn was on it, wasn't he? Talking about his next fights, and people ask him why he won't fight David Avanesian, and he was just saying because he's not. It's as much as this, he's saying David Avanesian's a good fight, which for all British boxing fans, we probably agree. Conor Benn versus David Avanesian is the fight to me. And he was like, well, why would I fight him? There's no name, there's nothing in it for me. I go and fight, the people he's talking about at the minute, Morris Hooker and Adrian Brown and people like that. Like, they're bigger names. We don't fucking care about who's a bigger name.
Yeah.
Boxing fans. We're not celebrity fighting each other fans.
That's what it's getting into though. It's the world. It's fucked up.
I might have a go myself.
Imagine. Me and you should do a charity one.
Oh, what, me and you duke it out?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
I've seen you on the VR set, lad. I've got nothing to worry about.
Oh, that was hard, that, mate.
You're blowing after 30 seconds.
No. Mate, the 2 rounds.
Oh, fucking hell.
Like the amount of videos you sent me and you're listening to top off.
I just messaged Jordan, like, sweating, going, lads, I've just come through a tough one there.
Yeah, but you got the VR set for Christmas and had the nice little easy route through, fighting the flyweights and that. When Jordan have a go with this, put me in with some slugger from the Bronx and getting the shellacking.
Oh, it's good times.
Great game, but...
What else happened in sport?
UFC, didn't it? In Ghana, you got it right. You said he'd win, didn't you?
By the most unexpected way. And you know what? You ruined it for me, actually.
Did I?
Because I woke up on the Sunday morning and went on Instagram, and your story was, anyone have Uganu on points or something like that.
And if anyone did, fuck you.
What price was that?
Don't know. Big though.
So you kind of ruined it for me a bit. So anyway, went straight back on BT Sport and watched it back. Bit of a boring fight.
Yeah, but the first 2 rounds I was thinking, brilliant. This is exact. Ngannou's blowing out of his arse. Gann's hitting him as at will. Take him out now, 3 or 4. No. And then that big body slam out of nowhere. Put him on his back. Gann didn't know how to get up. Do you know what the funny thing was? Ngannou left France and that corner team because he said, I'm not up to scratch with everyone else in the world when it comes to being on the floor and the wrestling game and stuff. Got to go to America. Shore up on me wrestling. And Fernand was saying, the coach, you can be a wrestler and have a competent game by being in France. And Ngannou pretty much showed that he can't because once Cyril was on his back against someone who's as good as him, even though he got in positions as well, like right towards the end of the fight where he had control and he just give it away and he's panicking, trying to get that heel hook and stuff.
This is me, and you'll think I'm chatting shit, and people listening and watching will think I'm chatting shit, but I think there just seemed to be moments when Ngannou had him down and could have just laid some heavy blows and didn't. And I was thinking, is it because the mates? I mean, I know that's why, but there just seemed to be moments where he was dominating him on the ground, and I don't know, maybe he could have leaned up and just started letting loose and just almost didn't. Yeah. Do you think that?
There was definitely some of that, but he's got to go in for the operation. He'd done his ACL and his ACL and his MCL, hasn't he?
Seeing that, yeah.
Strapped up, so I don't know whether he was getting to the floor and he was like, right, I'm going to keep him here. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's what I mean, yeah.
Control him, and then because obviously if he blows a gasket on the floor and then it gets reversed or the control changes, he's fucked. Do you know what I mean? He's got nothing in him, but it was very, very impressive, because I would see all the pictures where people were putting Khabib's hat on him. The stuff Khabib used to wear to the ring, the fair thing.
No.
Saying Ngannou's turned into Khabib because no one expected that, not to put him. You can put him down and stuff like that, but it was the way he was controlling him.
Just very polished and professional, wasn't it? Like you say, when I said it was, I just think because you build up with just these 2 massive heavyweights just
duking it out.
Yeah, that's what you kind of wanted, and obviously
didn't get. Co-main event, Figueiredo Moreno, third fight, two little fellas, they went at it.
Did they? Yeah.
They've obviously the third fight, hopefully see the fourth. See, I learned this week the UFC have never had a fourth fight between fighters, that they've got to do it the fourth time. So they've had, first fight was a draw, second fight Moreno choked them out, third fight Figueiredo won his belt back. It's got to go again.
It's got to, yeah.
Mate, it's unbelievable. Just going at it.
Did you stay up, did you, or wake up next day?
I stayed up for like the start of the prelims because I had a bet on Valdez. And mate, I knew this fight was going to be carnage, but not the carnage. So they come out and I thought, Favola's a bit chinny, got done in 7 seconds in his last fight. Literally walked over, hit him, and that was it. Valdez is a bit rough and ready. Thought, like, these are just going to, go at it. And they did. Like, Valdez got wobbled bad. Then he wobbled Favola. And eventually Valdez was the first to fall, but first round just duked it out. Love it.
Yeah, that's what... You know what was weird, though, after the... again, I only watched the main event. What was weird afterwards is there was no Dana, wasn't there, was he? And then the questions were straight away
Fury.
About boxing.
Rogan asked about Fury, didn't he? But
why?
Don't know. I mean, Ngannou's obviously leading this charge of the pay, isn't he, with the UFC? And not people not knowing his worth and stuff like they say they don't know his worth and stuff like that. And then obviously Dana's obviously going against that. So people were like, well, Dana's wanted Gant to win, so he's not strapping the belt round Ngannou. Dana then didn't do the post-fight press conference either. But he's come out today and said that he was dealing with stuff backstage, dealing with stuff, whatever that may mean. But
it's interesting, isn't it?
Stinks a bit, doesn't it?
Do you think it's a bit disrespectful as well?
100%. But Ngannou's now, he's saying, isn't he, I'm going to boxing because I'm going to get... So basically, Fury and them earned more in their fights than every single fighter on that UFC card combined. Every single fighter in the last fight, and a lot more.
Really, yeah. That's... It's alright Ngannou's saying that, though he wants to go and get the big payday, but would he be any good boxing?
No, he'd get absolutely steamrolled. Tom Aspinall did an interview.
I seen that was really good.
And he was exactly right, because Tom Aspinall was a pro boxer, he turned pro, and he sparred with Fury and stuff. And he's saying it doesn't translate the way you think it does. It's a different sport, do you know what I mean? A bit like, playing rugby league or rugby union, it's the same ball and it's the same, the end goal is the same. You knock him out, but it doesn't translate in the way that you think it does until you get in there.
I think with regards to the fighter pay and stuff like that, without kind of jumping on Dana's side for a minute, it's like you go into a sport, you know how much you're getting paid. Like, it's like me joining the Marines. I know how much you get paid in the Marines, and then I'm joining, I'm going, well, I want to be on more. It's like you know that before you sign up to it, before you start training for it, before you sign that contract, you know how much you're going to be getting. You can't then do it, but then kind of moan and go, well, in boxing they're getting paid X amount, because why didn't you train to be a boxer then?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? I mean, yeah, for our entertainment they're risking a lot and they should get paid, but it's I don't know, I sit a little bit, the more this rumbling goes on with the pay, the more I sit a little bit probably lean a little bit towards Dana, because they can't just keep on going, well, fighting, I'll go and fight Fury, then it's like, well, you're not good enough to do that, so... Exactly.
You're not a World Championship boxer for that reason, but I believe the pay should be... I believe the pay should be higher, but you cannot compare it to boxing all the time. It's a different sport, it's ran in a different way. You don't have governing bodies, for example. You have the UFC belt, and the UFC rankings. You don't have WBC, WBO, IBF, all that stuff. It's a different sport, and it's ran, and it's a different business model. You can't. It's like you running a business, right? And going, oh, these are our figures. This what's in, this what's out. This is what we're. And then going, that business over there, they're doing well better. They're getting paid well. All right, that's not our business, is it?
But what is though like a good pay? What would fighters be happy with?
Don't know. I mean, I think the age-old argument now from the UFC side is, if you get to a point where you are good enough, you are a big enough star, and you sell enough pay-per-views and stuff, you can get paid. Look at McGregor. No one can say he didn't earn money out the UFC. He did earn money, but obviously what the argument against it is we can't have these exceptions. Just these people. One-offs earning millions. Everybody needs to be earning. But the way the UFC works is, you get paid, but you get paid on like free fight deals or whatever it been. It gradually goes up, and then there's the win bonus Obviously, there's the performance of the night bonus, fight of the night bonus, all that stuff. It's a different business model, and I just think there needs to be a bit of leeway from both sides. I think fighters need to stop saying it. Will boxers get paid more? Because that's not an argument. It's a different sport. Just because it's comparable in terms of your actions, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I agree.
And UFC has to say, okay, well, you know, the base level pay might go up then, or you know, when you get to a certain level, you then start dictating sort of the amount of money you can earn. Do you know what I mean? And obviously, they all get a bit of money off Venom, the sponsor, the same way they did with Reebok, but they can't have sponsors on the shorts or.
Yeah, no, I've just not changed my mind, but it's just great on me. But every you see it just all the time now, don't you? Fight to pay, and it's like, yeah, maybe you should get an improvement, but you can't keep on saying, well, yeah, Tyson Fury gets paid this much, so I want. It's like.
Doesn't work.
Anyway.
But Jake Paul's just done a little. He bought into Endeavour, hasn't he? The parent company of Endeavour, the parent company of the UFC. So they like, you know, the top of the tree. Jake Paul's invested in Endeavour. I don't know all the details, but Jake Paul's invested in Endeavour to try and pull the power play to then start the conversation for more pay, sort of thing.
Wow.
So yeah, we'll obviously see how that one rolls on. But
did you also see John Terry?
NFTs?
Yeah.
Oh my God, did you see the Tammy Abraham one?
Yeah. But it's getting investigated, isn't it?
Bet, yeah.
Because of like copyright images for the Premier League and things like that.
He put one up of Tammy Abraham, and it could have been interpreted as, you know, as racist, really.
I've not seen this one.
No, it wasn't. It was. You know, it could have been interpreted as racist. It wasn't, clearly, but you know, in terms of
why,
NFTs,
what was it?
It was like obviously the monkey thing, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
So he put that out on Twitter and said, "Oh, Tammy, like getting whatever that may be," and then everyone in the comments has Twitter does, "Oh my God, like you can't do that. You can't." I'm sure, you know, I'm 99% sure it wasn't obviously it wasn't racist, but people putting 2 and 2 together and getting 5. And so yeah, he was like, some of the gifs were great though.
I seen it. Someone quote tweeted him because he's just been. It's like
they're just spamming people.
Yeah, and it's like there was like a great gif of, you know, something like when someone first joins or something and they're like doing just stupid tweets or something like that, and it's like fucking hell, God. But yeah, again, we still need to get someone on about NFTs, but I get it. But yeah, he's getting investigated.
John Terry, mate, if he was any dumber. A great footy player. I'm sure he's probably a good coach as well, but just fucking dumb as the day's long.
Absolute mong of a human being.
He is, mate. He's just an idiot.
Yeah.
I still don't forgive him. He just still went for that, like, a cross and an up gelled hairstyle for like 15 years, didn't he? And just wouldn't budge.
Unbelievable footballer, though.
Oh, some player, mate. Unbelievable.
I reckon probably one of the best defenders the Premier League's ever had.
Carragher speaks pretty highly of that.
Yeah.
But, you know what, like, obviously we've touched the manager thing, but no, seeing Gerrard back as Goodison as a manager, and he's starting to see like Lampard linked with all these jobs. Rooney's a manager. You just realise like your generation of footy players have now all moved into being managers, and Stevie's doing an absolute job.
Unbelievable job. Did you see? We mentioned it last week. Shithousery.
Yeah.
See Gerrard's little pull of the tongue.
Mate, is there a heavier song in football than "The Baby's Not Yours"? I would lose my shit.
It's bad, isn't it? Like, that's all you could hear on the telly. Like, all you could hear.
Imagine someone singing, but 30,000 people singing that, yeah?
It's horrible, isn't it? Proper
He
horrible.
did the old baby thumb in the mouth thing, didn't he, when they scored?
Did he?
Yeah.
Should have, did he?
Yeah, have you seen that picture? Yeah.
No.
But you know, I'm just impressed by
all the kids are 100, they're all identical.
Oh no, I'm sure it's not a conversation, but mate, that must hit you right in the feels when someone's shouting that.
Oh mate, just like one of those. It's obviously not even a root. It's just a horrible thing to get.
It's just nasty, isn't it?
Proper nasty.
But
the football you've got them playing, mate. The signings they've made with Coutinho and Lucas Dean.
They've got some players though. That Jacob Ramsey's as good as a young player that I've seen. The lad in midfield.
Is it Watkins as well, is it?
Ollie Watkins up front, yeah. He works his arse off and scores.
That header against Everton was unbelievable.
That was Buendia, wasn't it?
Was it?
He's 5'4" or something.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know, it's the way he speaks and that I'm impressed more by. Like they said about, you scored that corner, and then he named the analysts, and he was like, yeah, these two lads, they spotted it, you know what I mean? And then we worked on it. Obviously, it brought a goal, but I don't know, he's just striking me as, like...
Oh, yeah. Mega impressed with him.
Could be really on his way to being a top manager, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, mega impressed with him.
I mean, I'd still be nervous if he ever became Liverpool manager. I would be there.
Well, yeah, just because you just don't want Klopp to kind of get us to a point, and then for Stevie with his legendary, kind of presence around the city to then, break it, like ruin it. Like it's just. I think if Klopp carries on the way he is, it'll become a bit like a poison chalice is probably the wrong term, but it'll be that thing where like after Ferguson left, like who can replace?
Yeah.
I mean that's what it'll be like if Klopp continues.
What do you reckon? I don't reckon mate, I'm not convinced by us at the minute, I'll be totally honest.
Why?
We're so defensively frail, mate.
No.
We are, mate.
Listen.
Crystal Palace
we're winning that league.
Like a knife through fucking butter, mate.
We are winning that league.
Not,
we are.
And we'll not win the Champions League either.
We are 6 points off City if we win our 2 games in hand, yeah. No, we're not. Yeah.
Don't know what we are. I bet you though we lose at least 4 games between now and the end of the season.
I've told you, like, we beat City, right? It's down to 3 points, I think. And then Stevie plays them on the last game of the season.
But we won't go unbeaten, Andy.
Why?
Because Crystal Palace are just going back-to-back chances, lad. Alisson was everywhere.
Have you seen how good Alisson is as a goalie?
Yeah, but he can't be like that every week.
I just done a tweet. I love tweets where it's just dead basic. I just put Alisson is really good at football.
And it's just like, wait.
Nah, I'm only messing. I don't know whether we will win the league, but I'm not as concerned as you are.
No, I'm not concerned that because I just think City are better than us this year. I just genuinely do think that, but we're so defensively frail at the minute.
It doesn't take a lot though for Pep to start cracking up. Did you not see him?
No.
Have you not seen his interview?
No.
Oh, it's brilliant. So they drew at Southampton, and the interviewer says something about frustrating performance.
Was he the best ever?
He was like the best ever.
Yeah.
And the reporter goes, really? Like, and he goes, the best ever.
Yeah.
He just looks at him like that. Oh no, he goes, by far.
Yeah.
It's just weird how
he can crack up, like, I'll give you that 100%, but we will lose games. And it's fucking annoying.
I don't know, I'm not as concerned as maybe. Yeah, obviously second half we were poor. But
we've got a bit of a midfield crisis going on, haven't we?
Where's Thiago?
Injured, he's back now, isn't he? Henderson's just, I don't know what's happened, he's just fell in a hole a bit.
Listen, Javier will be back soon.
Yeah, good
Thiago back soon.
Jones has got to play, hasn't he?
Jones playing brilliant.
Fabinho's scoring all the time, but he's not really at full form yet in terms of like all-round play. Henderson's in a bit of a hole. Obviously the 2 full-backs were on fire the other day. Verge is not quite where he was at, but he's still playing relatively well.
See, all these things, these points you're making, mate, they're still winning.
I agree.
Every week.
But when you just like in the art of art, it does like we are a bit more frail than we have been in recent years. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but George, you're comparing it to a team that won the fucking World Club Cup, won the Champions League, won the league, I know, but that's got 100 points, whatever.
But that's the as you say, the poison chalice, isn't it? Because you can't start coming back this way.
But now, what do you want them to do?
Keep going. What City are doing?
Mate, we're not as far off City as maybe.
No, we're definitely not far off them, but they do seem to just keep going. Even if it's an inch level, they keep creeping up. Do you know what I mean? They just seem to just like pull something more out all the time.
Mate, they are an unbelievable team, but I just don't think there's that much.
One-off game, there's definitely not much between us. Definitely not much between us, but... And, I'm glad players like Jota, Firmino's playing fairly well. Chamberlain scored, doing the, this Salah and Mane thing was made up to be, we're going to completely die without them. And I'm glad them players are doing that. But I don't know, I just have this feeling about us at the minute, we're just a bit frail. But we've got a boss goalie, so let's just keep it going.
It's not even, there's not even no footy this week, is there either?
No, we're having a break, aren't we?
Is it international, is it? Or?
No, it's like what England developed as the winter break, innit?
Is it?
Yeah, it's like a week off, some shit.
Yeah, I've seen a few of them in Dubai playing golf or something.
Had a few. How long have we done?
Well, 45 minutes.
Oh, we have got our timings down to a treat.
45
even without your
minutes.
Couple of good announcements this week from a boxing point of view. Chocolatito versus Martinez on the 5th of March. I'll leave that until we get closer, but
I seen you mention that, yeah.
Fuck me. Let's have it. And then the human backpack himself's back. May 7th against Justin Gaethje.
That'll be good then.
Play out exactly like Poirier did. He'll get dropped a couple of times, survive, and then find that back, choke him to death.
Not on this weekend, no.
No, next weekend. Everything's on a pause.
What's happening with sport this weekend, lads?
No, everyone has a little getting off the end of dry January, aren't they? But next weekend you've got Williams Eubank, big fight. The boxing's then from next week is just back to back to back to back to back. We're back in boxing, the UFC starts rolling. And this quiet January that we've had to endure will be over.
Thank God.
January's shit, innit?
Yeah.
Just from a life perspective. Fucking crap.
Weather's shit, it's fucking cold.
Freezing, lad.
Proper cold. And I've lost my phone. Shit, January.
To be fair though, you had a fucking great night out, it looked like.
Yeah, I had a skinful, but I've lost my phone, so it doesn't feel as good. But no, yeah, so quiet weekend of sport, but I've enjoyed this, George.
Yeah, hopefully, next time we sit down, Everton have got a manager and we can actually, be a bit positive about them. Don't mean to be negative about it, we're just trying to be honest about the situation.
Listen, I think even the most passionate of Evertonians are, at a point now like we are. It's just, and joking aside, I know I always have a little jibe and take the piss. It is fucking sad. It is proper sad for them. Because listen, football's a big part of people's lives in this city. And when someone is having to endure, obviously the campaign's called 27 years, isn't it? 27 campaign, isn't it? Yeah. To endure a trophy drought like that for a club as big as Everton, and not just a trophy drought, but like the fucking circus that is that club. It is unfortunate. It is really unfortunate.
I think what we also maybe don't give enough credit to, all of us, is how important Everton is to the city that we fucking live in. Do you know what I mean? Whatever your opinion on that stadium that's getting built, it's good for the city. And if that ends up doesn't happen, or there's no longer 2 football clubs in the top division, it's bad for where we live.
Oh, I know. You look at the programmes that Everton do, Everton in the community. I'm sure things like that, hopefully, you'd like to think wouldn't change, but
that's the things that get cut.
You don't know, do you? You just don't know. So
we obviously we are both Liverpool fans, but the Sportcast is ever evolving. We want to continue to be inclusive of everyone, and we have Everton fans get involved, don't we? Which is good.
Yeah.
I think we need to be giving our honest opinion on Everton more.
Yeah.
But that's what we're doing.
And honestly, it's a shit show.
It is a shit show. So hopefully next week's a bit better.
Nice one again. Hope you all have a boss weekend. Don't forget, check out our other shows you do on Patreon. It's £4 a month, less than a coffee. George just bought me a cup of tea. That was about fucking 11 quid, wasn't it, for 2 cups of tea?
That was expensive, wasn't it?
So if it's cheaper than that. It's £4 a month. It's on Patreon. And we appreciate
shit, and our shows are good.
We appreciate the support. Nice one.